Hello. This thing, not bad actually. Um, First of all, how are you guys? Hope everything is well. It's good for you. Hope you're enjoying the last um, production I made for you. There's a lot about that subject, which from time to time I would love to share with you. Some of my findings and in conjunction with some of my personal understanding of Mr. Krishnamurti. The last production, I forgot at the end to actually introduce his name to you. And as it goes in the old tradition that the younger is supposed to be introduced to the older, so I forgot to introduce you to him as a respect to him, even though he's not with us any longer. I find him very, very brilliant, amazing democratic approach to teaching, which I also always loved and tried to implement, and I did implement in some scenarios when I would share something with some other people. You can learn a lot from Mr. Krishnamurti, very educated, and I was kind of agitated that the audience or the people that were trying to ask him about his findings sometimes sounded like if they're challenging him instead of being very respectful and quiet and letting him have enough time to be able to put the words the way he wants to deliver it in a way that he can understand. As you know, speaking is very easy for everybody, but speaking and in a manner where you're developing your delivery of what you want to say would be in such a way that the audience, the listener, would actually understand what you want them to understand rather than what they would understand if you don't put enough efforts in designing proper words and delivering the points that you want to get across. So I myself get very agitated if I'm trying to deliver something talking and I would be rushed, like somebody jumps into when I'm talking. I don't like that at all, because I feel like speaking is like an art. You need to be able to have enough time without being rushed in a good conversation. So you will have enough time to take your time and deliver, build, and get the story from foundation to the top level when you want to build something, and it would come across clear for the listener, so there would be no misunderstanding, and it would be more effective and productive way of communicating and using the time. And then I would be quiet until they finish saying what they want to say. But in some of these videos that I've been watching of Mr. Krishnamurti, he wasn't he was sometimes annoyed, but he was so kind and cute about it, and with his old age, and it's for me it's a delight to listen to all these things and compare to what I've been searching and what I've been finding and how they can help each other and so on, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Anyhow, if you go on internet, if you're interested, if you're not interested, we'll be talking about it a lot, so which will have lessons and teachings of Mr. Krishnamurti in it, in my conversation, as it would be stimulant for a mind, what he teaches, so the mind would actually look at things from different angles and then incorporate that, what he teaches and the angles that he opens up to use those angles for what you've been trying to deliver. And so it's very enjoyable for me, and I hope that you will enjoy the thought sharing on the subject, regardless of how it's been instilled. What's important is to be able to deliver, and other people can enjoy. And I'm also a little bit, as I mentioned, disappointed for the people who have actually adopted his particular way of even speaking or behaving in when he was doing his speeches, and written a book which clearly to me has been on the same topic as Mr. Krishnamurti has been talking about, and but never mentioned his name. And I'm sure that many have come across his teachings and his books and his lectures and so on. And it's just appropriate for people who have had a chance to maybe talk about it or talk about the subject, including their own content and Mr. Krishnamurti's contents or angles, as a discussion, or if they've written a book, to mention who was the teacher who may have very well originated the speaking of the subject. It doesn't mean other people cannot talk about it or cannot write about it, but it would be good to say, okay, it wasn't all came to me, but I have been seeing angles and ways to learn from whoever was before me. If that's the case, if that's the case. We don't know. We can only guess. So, now, this particular session is dedicated to S.B., a young friend of ours who has sent me an email regarding his own personal situation with the girl that he had been seeing for 7 months. And now his question is, she's left him, she's broken up with him without any particular reason that she would have said. Probably there is a reason in her mind, but she's apparently never said it. Many ladies do have this habit of just simply, or any of us. Sometimes we kind of, for some reason, want to break up, but we don't give a good reason. Which is not really sometimes fair, but then who says the world is fair? I mean, especially in the world of relationship, I don't think anything is fair. Usually the one who likes someone is the one who likes the other one more than the other one likes him or her. It's not always even, and if it's even, then that's a good match. The emotions are sometimes on different levels. And sometimes people do get into a relationship for different reasons than the other side has gotten into the relationship. And then a few months later, that particular motivation, that particular reason doesn't exist anymore. And without any reason, they just want to go because their problem has been solved. As you know, dear SB, the psychological reasons for each individual to get into a relationship is different. Sometimes it's only physical need. Even girls today, it's not just boys, have only approached it from physical angle. That's what they need. That's what they want. And everything being equal in most ways, that's how they approach it. And when their interest or need is satisfied, or psychological need is satisfied, they find no particular reason to stay, which is fine. Because who wants to stay with someone who doesn't have enough reason to stay with us? I mean, whether you're a man listening to this or watching this, or whether you're a woman watching this, it goes both ways. So just, even though this is from the point of view of boys, but if the girls are watching this, you can just switch it over and consider yourself to be the one that I'm addressing. But it is portrayed and delivered as boys' point of view. So one thing is for sure important for us all. delivering to the boys, so the wordings are for the boys. We tend to, at least for some parts of our life, tend to identify ourselves, tend to see our identity with the woman that we like, or with a woman that we are seeking, searching for. First of all, let me finish the question here. The question of SB is that now that she's left me, but we work in the same office, and I see her, and we only talk about what needs to be talked about on business end, and he likes to get back to her. Sorry, oops. he likes to get back to her, and then he likes to know how should he handle himself around her. Well, that's a very good question. But we got to go to the roots of why you would have such a question. You have such a question because you want something. You want her. You want to be with her. Whatever reason it might have. One reason, not the only reason, one reason would be because she's the one who severed it. So now you feel a little bit bloody. You feel a little bit injured. At least your ego is injured. So when we are usually rejected by someone that we don't have a good reason, at least two-way reason to sever the relationship, when we seem to be rejected, we feel hurt and yet more anxious to get, like the fish that is pulling away, you're more a little bit interested to bring in. And if you go fishing and the fish simply gets a hook on and then comes in easily, I mean, okay, great, I'll go, enjoy the fish, but you didn't have a good experience. You didn't have real interest, and you usually have more respect and more interest for the fish that has been fighting with you, or been kind of pulling away. So when we feel somebody's pulling away, we kind of want it more. It's just a little bit of a natural psyche of human being, or maybe stupidity of human being, I don't know. But so that's one reason that you feel uncomfortable, because she's the one that in your mind you think she's the winner, she's the better one, because she's the one who didn't want it. Now, so if you didn't want her, you would have looked a little bit bigger in her mind, because she feels she's been dissed. So first of all, you got to get that out of your head. Nothing has come off of you. Nothing has been reduced. Nothing has been diminished in you just because she hasn't wanted it. Well, she hasn't wanted it. The way I would look at it is that if it was someone that would leave me, let's say, I would say, well, obviously she wasn't good enough. She didn't feel the part. She was uncomfortable, or for whatever reason, her taste or her needs, or however it is, she couldn't fill it or fulfill it by a quality of a man like me. Yeah? And that's true. Because why would I think that I'm less than what her ideal is? Why wouldn't I think that she wasn't good enough for me? Because obviously either way, it didn't work out. So you have to change your point of view on this subject. Every time you see her, you think she's better than you. So you feel uncomfortable. You don't know what to say. You want to entertain her. Don't entertain her. You have to now play the game. I'm not going to help you to get back to her, because that's not the way I think. The way I think is, if someone leaves someone, that's the end of it. I don't want the woman who leaves me, because why would I want a woman who has left me? She had a chance. Now she's not, for whatever reason. Then I don't want a woman who doesn't want to be with me. I want a woman who wants to be with me. So whether I choose not to be with her or she chooses not to be with me, either way, that's the way it should be, because it's not a two-way street that we both wanted to be together. So same thing, when a boy doesn't want to be with a woman, that woman shouldn't want this boy to be with her, shouldn't go after him anymore. When a girl doesn't want to be with a boy, the boy shouldn't even go after her anymore. Because it's not like the first few weeks of getting to know each other that you're trying to kind of encourage her. It's after many months. After many months, she doesn't want you. So what? It's not the only fish in the sea. And you got to understand that. There is no woman that you can say, oh, she's the one. Yeah, it may seem like compared to the ones you had before. But there's also many other ones that are better than her. So first of all, don't be so dogmatic in that you really want to get back to her. Focus on the ones who haven't left you, meaning that you haven't had a relationship with, and they haven't left you, or you haven't left them. So it's a clean slate. And this one obviously had the chance and she didn't want it. So why would you want somebody who's rejected you for whatever reason? Who gives a damn? Have a little respect for yourself. I'm not being tough with you. I'm just trying to say, have a little respect for yourself. That's all. You know, the problem with most of us boys is we identify ourselves with women. Let's get yourself out of, you know where. Get your head screwed on straight and understand that to be a man or to be whole, you don't need to be between a corridor just to feel you're whole, you're good, you're worthy, you've been, dubbed as a man, as worthy. No. Try to identify yourself with what you can do in this life, what you can learn in this life, what you can accomplish in this life. Because if you try to identify yourself with her, whoever that may be, then she becomes, and two people, they're always different, she becomes your problem. Whatever she does, however she conducts herself in the society, whatever decisions she makes, whatever mistakes she makes, you suffer from it because you have made her your own as identification of your character. You connected her too much to yourself. Now, whatever she does in the society, however decisions she makes, whatever mistakes she comes up with, you try to fix it, but yet you can't because you're not in control. She's a different person. And that's going to bother you a lot more. Make you all tense and nervous. If she knows what she's doing, if she's interacting with the right people, if she's representing herself, which means representing you because you're now thinking of her as what you identify with. She's her identity in a way, or part of your identity. Don't make anybody your identity. That at the point you get so much frustrated because what you think it's your identity has her own mind and behaves in her own ways, but yet you want it to be in a way that you would be happy and proud and approve of. So it will always be a conflict. And she should make you her identity. Wow. That's pretty good. Not bad. So, once you make a girl identity, beside what I just told you, the problem, and then you also start beginning to think she's your property. And then you expect her to do many things the way you would want her to, and you take her own identity out of her, and she would become uncomfortable for that too. She may be complying and trying because she maybe love you, like you, or whatever else the relationship may be, but it would be uncomfortable. And eventually, someday in the future, it explodes and this relationship severs. So, everybody should keep the other partner, you should keep your girlfriend totally separate from your identity. So you'll be happy and proud with whatever it is that you're doing, you're accomplishing, and whatever she does in the society, it would be her own responsibility and not psychologically affecting you or giving you certain kind of a stress about why you didn't do it this way. This means it's going to affect me because I'm your boyfriend, this and that, so forth, so forth. Just, if you don't like what they're doing to the point that is really annoying you, separate. Go your own way and they go their own way, and the vice versa. In that way, everybody stays independent and at the same time together. But being together doesn't mean to be copy of each other. It means to respect each other's and have a certain cooperative policy and certain, coherent policy, harmonized policy, certain harmony in your way of approaching life and society and behaving in the society and so forth, certain policies, but it doesn't have to be everything exactly. So you can create that balance, find that balance. Now, how you should behave around her is to be just someone who was her boyfriend, she was your girlfriend, and now you're not. Go to your lunch alone or be with some other people. Don't ignore her and don't try to suck up to her either. Just be like the way you were before you guys got together. Not cheesy, not try to get back to her. Just like before you got together, but you weren't boyfriend, girlfriend, and you weren't really that interested. You were just cordial. Just remember that how you were and be like that, because that's exactly where you are right now. She's now your girlfriend and you're not her boyfriend, and you shouldn't want to be, so be cordial, co-worker. That's it. Why you feel uncomfortable is because what's in your head. Every time you see her, you want her. You want to grab her, you want to be with her, you want to have the same thing as you did before, and that makes you uncomfortable. And you think you got to be in a certain way for her to approve of you. You don't need her approval at all. If anything, she needs your approval to get back to her, to you. And you don't need to get back to her at all. Go find other fish, for sure. If she misses you and she feels that, don't try to do anything for her to miss you. Don't wait for her to miss you. Go on. If she did miss you, she would behave in such a way that would try to get you on her side and get your favor again and get your attention again. And then you will re-examine. Maybe by that time you'll say, the hell with it. I don't want it. I don't want somebody who's rejected me. You want to play games? I don't have time with it. If you had a reason, well, you didn't even discuss it. Okay. Or you just perhaps didn't want to discuss it. You just didn't want to be with me. Okay, then why would I want to be with you again? Forget about your ego. Go fluff your ego with somebody else. There's so many other wonderful girls out there. But because this one is in front of you and you've probably slept with her, you've probably been with her, you feel, comfortable with her, familiar with her, so to you it's better than the others. But once you get to know the others, then you can judge if she's better than the others or not. There's so many different kind of people in this world. And others probably will be fitting you better, and that's how you should be approaching it. So, at this point, I don't have anything else to say to you. Just as that comedy on TV used to say, be a man. Meaning, don't worry about it. Just go about your business. Treat her like any other woman there. Nice, but nothing extra. And don't diss her either. Don't be disrespectful. Don't be impolite. But don't be too funny. Don't be too accommodating. Bring your coffee. Bring your tea. Go do your things. That's how you should behave. And stop thinking that, you need someone to be somebody. You don't need someone to be someone. You can be someone on your own, and you know how. Build yourself from inside. Educate yourself more. Gives you more confidence. Have plans and activities for yourself. Gives you more confidence, and that confidence makes you feel really not even just attractive. And I'm not saying this for her, for you. Attractive to other women, and you feel free yourself, within yourself. You shouldn't be needing anybody to feel somebody. Have a nice evening, and when you guys write me something, please also let me know your age and which city or which country you're sending me. At least that gives me a good feeling, where my audience are, where my friends are. So have a nice evening. Talk to you soon.